You know, babe, one of the things that I think has been great about the book project that we've been doing, we introduced it a couple weeks ago. We just kind of talked about it. We already had one couple on.
Yes, we have.
So now we have another amazing couple. We're going to be talking to Felipe and Dionna Rojas. And they are an amazing couple. They have a very, very unique story.
And they have servants' hearts. And it's so nice to meet people who serve with excellence, and they do it with such ease that they make you feel welcome, and they make you feel like you're a part of their life and their family. And so we're going to let you guys experience the warmth and love of this amazing couple as they share their unique love story.
Coming up next on the Rich Relationship Podcast with Gil and Renee. Welcome to the Rich Relationship Podcast with Gil
and Renee, where amazing things happen. Our goal is to help build, repair, and restore healthy relationships.
Our primary focus is on the marriage relationship. However, the topics are applicable to the relationships that we value most. Remember, we're stronger together.
Let's grow!
Well, Felipe and Dionna, we really, really appreciate you guys investing of your time just to come and hang out with the Rich Relationship Podcast community. Again, thank you guys for being here with us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We know you guys had to go to great lengths to get a quiet room. Thanks for that. And so please tell us a little bit about your unique love story, guys.
Absolutely. I'm always the one that jumps in the talk, so I don't know, do you want to do the first? Okay, all right. Let's see. It started the spring, for me, it started the spring of 2000. And my sister talked me into taking salsa dance classes with her, and so I did. And at that time, we live in Pittsburgh, PA, so there was not a huge Hispanic community. And so there was even less back then. And when you would take a class, you would after class, everyone would travel to different places to practice together that would host either live music or have a DJ playing Latin music. And so it was probably, the first time I saw him was probably like the earlier part of the summer. And he seemed like a very friendly guy. I don't speak any Spanish. He was very limited with English. And I remember walking up, because their dance is very partner, kind of like our two-step. It's a partner-driven dance, and I'm a 70s baby, so we didn't really do partner dancing when I grew up as a teen. I would dance with my parents, but not necessarily dance like with partners, the teenagers. So I was excited to learn how to do the dance, and I saw him out. He looked approachable, so I asked him to dance because I love to dance, and we've been dancing since. And so I'll let him tell his side of the story. I don't know if it would match up or not.
Yeah, there was a beautiful time. Right when I came here to America, I started work party at the nights and the weekends. And yeah, that's true. I saw her. We saw each other, and in Mexico. I'm from Mexico City originally, and our custom is just dance. Period. And any kind of music, we just dancing. So I saw her that she tried to dance and stuff. So she approached, she asked me, "You want to dance?" Back in the day, I used to smoke and drink. I don't do anymore for 16 years, thanks God.
Oh, that's awesome.
I pulled my beer and my cigar, handed to my friends, and we danced, right? And then from there, we here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we engaged. The funny part of this, it was my English was very limited, and her Spanish, there was just none. So it was nothing but God to keep us together, that we can understand each other in any kind of way. But we grew it. We did good, and
we literally would, I would go to his job, meet him when he would get off, and he was a chef when I met him.
Wow.
Actually, no, you were busboy when I met you. And our story is unique in the fact that Felipe was undocumented, and I was aware of that from the very beginning. So with that came undocumented hours. So we didn't have the typical
40 hours
dating where you get together on a weekend and make plans. I would see him at the end of his shift at the restaurant. And even though we didn't share the same language, we still were able to communicate. We would literally go for walks in the community at night when he would get off his shift. And I don't even know what we talked about because, again, I didn't know Spanish.
We just walking around the houses, look at the beautiful homes, and the area was walking, and we just hold hands, and we just like, that's unique because most people like, if you don't know me, I don't know you, bye. And we speak, we learn. Well, I have to learn more English because I'm on the English country, but I think that was a unique connection. That was a perfect connection by God bless, because only God and us know how we communicate at the beginning until I start pick up and learn. But for that time, we don't even struggle in anything. We just kind of like a pointing or you like it. And, it was just...
We were patient with each other and communicating.
We like each other at the beginning, so I think that was the key of stick together.
So I have a question. So if you guys had to describe yourselves as a dance, since dance brought you together, what type of dance would you two be?
Mine, to be honest, I'm pure Mexican, so mine is like typical Mexican music, which is cumbia.
Yeah, tell me where you're going with that.
you need to know now, right?
Well, no, because 20 years ago when we met, it was a type of salsa, which people call it here, and they put too much on it. And the type of classic dance I have, which is a cumbia, is just regular. We don't add or we don't cut anything. Mm-hmm. On salsa, they add new steps, new rules, new moves. It's just, I'm too old for that. So I think I'm still with that.
And I could see, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with the cumbia. The cumbia is a type of salsa, but it is, it's known more towards Mexico and Central America. Mm-hmm. And I think even Colombia may also. What he was talking about was the Caribbean salsa, so like the Puerto Rican, Dominican, they do it a little differently.
Right.
But no mariachi. No, no mariachi.
But I could see it being a cumbia because there were a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of turning.
It's pretty similar to cumbia, salsa, but no.
There's more turning.
More fun.
The woman gets turned around a lot, and so I feel like that could be a good representation of our relationship. And
you do good though, so yeah.
Because we're never going the same. It's never the same turn, and
there's a big variety of turns.
It's a big variety of turn, and so you have to trust your partner.
Yes, that's the key.
Yeah, if you don't have trust for your partner when you're dancing, it doesn't have the same look or the same effect. And so I would say that we have mastered our technique with dancing in our relationship. Still growing, but we got some steps that we have pretty in sync.
That's beautiful.
And one of the things that kind of stuck out to me is when you guys initially started dancing together, obviously there was an adjustment time or a phase of getting to know each other's rhythm and those types of things. Mm-hmm. Think about that in the terms of the relationship. How long did it take for you guys to get into a rhythm of understanding and knowing each other in spite of the language barrier?
Ooh, I would say
before.
I felt like it was more. I felt like it was more. We got more comfortable with each other. Maybe our 8th year of marriage or 7th year of marriage. And the reason why I say that, we always had immigration looming over our relationship this whole time.
Right.
So that took precedence over everything. We dated, but it wasn't a normal dating. And when we got married, our first couple of years of marriage, we were still dealing with immigration. So I would say probably around a year. And we already had a child prior to our relationship, and we added 2 more kids within the marriage. So there were so many moving parts. I felt like we have learned more authentically about each other the last this in the 16 years, the second 8 of the 16 years of marriage.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So tell us about the proposal and the wedding and who proposed to who and all those good details.
Well, that was me. like you say, I was working many hours. I was working 10 to 10 and weekends, never off weekends. I was used to go on restaurants, so weekends.
One day off.
Wow.
One day off, Wednesday. So my lovely sister-in-law, Sheree, she was very involved in my relationship because she was kind of the key on me. That can you tell your sister this? Can you tell your sister that? Because she was more flexible to like to say hook me up with my wife now. So by the time
She helped them with the ideas to impress me.
She gave you the inside scoop, so to speak.
Yes, because like I said, I was working all day. So I said, hey, Sheree, I want to propose to your sister. She said, oh, you know what? I want to make this. I want to my apartment. So she made all the beauty. So she went to the store, to the mall. She gave me a couple samples of the rings, and I picked. So, I mean, it was perfect for me, but it wasn't no cool because I say pick it up, and she do everything like I'm supposed to do in it. And she do the day. We went over to her house.
Valentine's Day.
It was a Valentine's Day, 2002, and she got the idea to have a dinner, and she put a ring in the little cake. And we ate the dinner first, and then I said, dessert. And she just keep looking at me like, well, what is this about? I don't think she have no idea, or maybe a little bit, but we cut the cake, and the ring come out, and I get on my knee and ask her that she would marry me.
Dionna, did you know it was kind of coming? How did you feel about your sister kind of setting things up? Did that take away some of the spontaneity or the surprise for her?
No, actually, I was clueless. My sister was married at the time, and so her first husband and Felipe were friends. So she had this big, she told me this party for couples planned, and we were supposed to go over, and I'm kind of a homebody, so when Felipe came to my apartment, I was kind of like, let's just stay in. I really don't want to go anywhere. And so I was giving him a hard time, like, let's just watch a movie. And he was like, well, let's go. So finally he got me over there. Let me back up some. I actually picked out the ring. I didn't know I was picking out my ring. My sister took me to the mall.
I don't know that.
Yeah, she took me to the mall and told me that she was looking for a ring to tell her husband to upgrade for her.
Oh, that was sneaky.
I don't know if that may not have been too good for Felipe when it comes to the pocketbook,
Right. Right. So that's how the ring was picked out. But then when we got to their place, she played it so well. She said they had been arguing, so they decided not to have the dinner. And she said, but I want you guys to go ahead and have the dinner. I don't want it to ruin your Valentine's Day. She said, Alex and I will wait on you guys. And she made Mexican food, and I didn't think anything of it. And so then afterwards, they pull out the cake, and on the cake, it says, will you marry me? And there's a ring there. And I was thinking, and I turned around, he's on his knee. And I know I didn't give him the response he was looking for, because all I could do, I was so...
You were shocked.
I was shocked. And I would cry for you, Renee. I'll cry for other people, but I tend to get this uncomfortable laugh when I'm surprised and I'm excited.
Oh, no, you laughed in his face.
I kept laughing, and he was like, well, what? And he was like, you're not going to cry or anything? And but I was so happy, and I was so surprised, because he has the ability. It doesn't take a lot to move me, but when he does, though my sister helped him, I know that his heart was fully in the planning process, and I know that it came from a good place. And I know you're asking about the proposal, but to kind of give you a better insight, I would be remiss if I didn't share. I never forget, I was hosting my exchange student. I was in my apartment, single mom, barely had any money. I told him I wasn't going to do Christmas, no decoration. Ashley was about 7, our daughter. And so I said, I'm not going to do it. I was like the Grinch. I just didn't feel well that Christmas. And I came to my apartment. He had a key to my apartment. And Fabiani was there, my exchange student. Here, they went out to the dollar store. He completely decorated, got a little tree with lights on it and decorated the inside of the apartment. So I know that his heart was in the proposal because he's done things, very thoughtful things, throughout the dating process.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it almost sounds like we've been watching a lot of Hallmark movies.
I know. You guys should do a Hallmark movie. It would be really good to watch.
Everything from the proposal to the setup with your sister and how you guys orchestrated the relationship. It's unique from the very beginning. Did you realize that it was going to take that turn when that first dance, when you guys first met each other? And even though you probably eyeballed each other, when did you, before you even got to the engagement, Felipe, when did you decide that this is someone you wanted to spend the rest of your life with?
Well, we was, it is beautiful thing. I maybe take longer, but...
no, that's okay. Go ahead.
We used to go dancing in many places. Like, she wait for me at the night. She take me to my place, take a shower, get, clothes and stuff. And we were just fun. I remember one time, we always talk about it. We was talking, and I was a little tipsy. She said, do you know I have a daughter, right? And I just shake my head on my mind like, what is that? I just laugh like a little, I'm like, oh, okay, good. And my mind, so my ex-brother-in-law, he was hit 4 years before me, so he know more English. So I say, hey, Alex, what's daughter-in-law? I say, hija. I say, oh, she have a daughter. I say, oh, okay, cool. I mean, that's fine. But she always encouraged me to go to the church. She never encouraged me to go drinking, go partying and stuff, like be a bad person though.
Right.
And she was always, and she is 22 now, she even encouraged me to do the right thing. And it's hard for me because I'm a boy, I'm a person, I'm a guy that, you like to do a couple things besides, But I always feel comfortable, even we don't speak the language at the beginning, I always feel comfortable with her. And one time she bring me over to my in-law house, and we sit, and they accepted me kind of good. I was a few rejected, like, oh, I don't fit here. And eventually I just feel comfortable, like, and, she always shares, she always talks, she always tells me what she needs and stuff. And one thing got me so good from her, one day she, I think that was Thursday, she get paid on Saturday. And let's say, most women want money,
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me for money. I said, sure. And she said, I'll pay you on Saturday. And, because when you heard, I said, she don't pay me back. She came and paid me. So I was like, she's good,
Yeah.
And the little thing, she told me, I used to dress up, again, my ex-brother-in-law, he wanted me to dress me up like a black person, like he said. I was no bad. So she's like, one day I went to her job. She was so embarrassed. She's like, no. He take me to the store. She buy me clothes and stuff. So she put me on shape, but not to pull me down.
Yeah.
That we can be proud together, So those little things to me go straight to my heart with no process, because it's a beautiful thing, and I don't have it before. So I think for the year and a half, I have to. She want to take some time off from our relationship. So from Pittsburgh, where we live, is 1 hour away, the new Mexican restaurant. So I said, okay, you need your break. I go to work in there. So we're supposed to break. And she used to come see me every Sunday. 3 months.
What happened? What happened, Dionna? What happened to the break?
Well, so two people, you come with your own issues. And for me, I was still grappling with, I had my daughter when I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the oldest of 3. And I'm the child of teenage parents. And so I never really felt like I got to fully just live without the expectation of responsibility or reporting to someone, or even though I was helpful, I wasn't sure if I fully wanted to engage. And so what happened was I had been engaged twice prior, once to my daughter's father and then a second person. And so I shared that with him, and he was like, please don't ever do that to me. Like, if I ever propose, don't ever take the ring from me and then cancel. And so I told him I needed some space because at that point, he keeps saying 2, but we got engaged 2003. We got married 2004. And so...
Oh, my dad died 2002.
Okay, my bad. And so... And so I respected him, and I didn't want to hurt him like that. And so I needed to be sure that I wanted him in my life, and I wanted to be in his life forever. And so I asked him for space, and he was giving me space. And I'll never forget, I just got my car, and he was the first person I wanted to show my car to, my brand new car. And but he was leaving to go to the other place in Indiana, PA. And we broke up, but not because I was still talking to him. I broke up with him, but I was still, it was
two different things.
It was probably about 30 days, but I was still seeing him. And the more I saw him, the more it became clear to me that I'd rather have him in my life and do life with him. That he felt like home. So I didn't want us to not have that. Yeah. And the next thing you know, that's the following month I ended up getting proposed to.
Wow.
So, but I was glad that I had gone through that process, knowing that I made a clear decision. Because again, as I was saying, and part of me was thinking, are you crazy? There's immigration looming in this situation. But it never seemed so imminent that I did not want to be with him. So I was up for it, even if it meant my daughter and I had to go to Mexico because he had to go home. I was prepared to do that.
Wow. That's beautiful. You know, and I think a lot of times people don't realize that there's so much more to intimacy than just sex. And there's so much more to communication than just words. And there's so much more to being family than just blood. And you guys have proven that with your story. And so if you were talking to someone who was in the same situation, dealing with, you know, the obstacles of your past and immigration, what would be one thing that you would share? You guys both share something that you would share with a couple who is facing some of the things you guys faced. What would you share with them?
Well, I would share that because I was on the same process at the same time with one of my cousins, and for some kind of things he got issue with the law, so he don't make it. So I went, but he didn't. So I think his wife was scared, and they get divorced. But what I can tell people is like, make sure no lie at all in anything, in any kind of way, because lie is the first thing put you down. Like, you know, most people driving here with no license and stuff is accountable on your case. Be drunk on the street, just no record on the justice, and do the right thing. I mean, we already broke the law to come the wrong way. Why we keep it wrong? So just do the right thing, and try to fix your problem as clear you can.
Right.
That's good.
Because my cousin, like I say, he lied. And at the end, on the final, when I decide to go to Mexico to fix my waiver to perdón, have it called, the lawyer say you can't because you may don't come back. So the advice is just make sure you do the right thing.
And I would say make sure that you truly are committed to your relationship and the person's committed to you.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because the one thing the couple conversations we did have about marriage before the engagement was that we both did not believe in divorce, and so in infidelity. And so our job and our goal was to work hard not to get to that situation. And so we consider ourselves a partnership and a teammate. And there's times when, one person might be the ball hog, pass into the other. But at the end of the day, what is the intention? What is the real intent behind the person's actions and their words? And you just can't, you cannot take marriage lightly. And you definitely can't take marriage with someone who has history. I didn't have immigration, but I had a child, and that was a huge, as we were writing some of our story tonight, that was a huge undertaking for him because he didn't have any children at the time. So he became an instant dad. And so for me, I liken immigration to someone having a spouse or a partner that's in prison.
A past.
You're doing time with that person.
Yes.
And so I would say, definitely agree upon what you're committing to, and don't commit to something that you don't think you can handle.
Yeah.
We've seen many of good people with good solid marriages, but they were shook to the core because of the extenuating circumstance, and they just couldn't make it past the fear of what was facing them. And so you just have to really, as Felipe said, tell the truth, do things the right way. And God honors that.
He does.
He'll meet you. He took care of us the whole, I'm telling you, between our church family, my family, with each other, friends, we had so much encouragement, and God met us every step of the way as this man was correcting his situation.
Felipe, just listening to the character that you displayed, even when you guys were in a dating process, as far as whether it was boyfriend, girlfriend, and now obviously husband and wife, what was the foundation that you drew on when you decided that Dionna was someone that you wanted to spend the rest of your life with? You sound like you had a lot of history, even of yourself. Obviously you did, but what were some of the kind of things that you drew upon that attracted you or drew you to spending your life with?
Well, I may go back to Mexico. I have a kind of broken home. My dad was abuser. So I don't see love show from parents to kids. So it was kind of empty. So I was looking for a home. And looking for a home is not like a house, like a home, like a family, you know?
Yes.
And unfortunately, I get cheated in Mexico, and I'm like, I don't want to see a person here because the person cheated in 3 months, she get married. So it was just like a shot on me, so I started drinking and smoking. So I had the opportunity to come here because I was ashamed, like I've been cheated, which I was, unexpected that. So when I came here and I started dating people, I said, I don't want that. I just want stability. And that was my first word I knew in English. I want stability. I want a house. It was
not sexy at all.
It was an S. It started with an S, though.
Yes. I love her for it.
But she always, when I meet her, it was kind of like a connection in the beginning, like a first sign of her, whatever they say. Mm-hmm. And she always listened to me. Wow. You know, she always, even it was my broken real bad broken English with Spanglish and Chinese sometimes. Because I learned Chinese too. So she was just there.
Wow.
And you don't see that very often. She was always there at the beginning. And I'm like, if you different, I don't even know her, but I feel like I know her.
And I think that's your wife, because when I met her, I didn't know her. She picked me up at the airport. I came there to speak. And I just felt connected to her in a way that she felt like family to me. And she made me, and even her mom made me feel like I belong there. And that's something that people need, is to feel like they belong. And so thank you that's just who you are.
You just say it. You just say it what I'm going to say. You just feel welcome. You just feel home. And eventually we just practice. She's like, honey, I'm going to take you to school because you don't speak my language, I don't speak you. So she threw me to school. So I said, she helped me at the beginning. You know, she went to the school, started practicing and stuff. So, eventually started learning. But to be with her, we did good at the beginning. We fight, but it wasn't a big fight, but she made me feel good that we can go far away. You know what I mean? Like, she never rejected me. That was the only one time when we went to eat at the restaurant and I say, I love you. And she say, no, I don't love you. I say, what? So she explained she even had trouble before, blah, blah, blah. And so I said, I won't give up.
Wow.
So I want you. I say, I know, I feel I love you. So that was before she break up. Well,
that was before
she break up. She didn't been a break up. But it was just kind of like she take care of me. Like, I was here by myself. I just have friends, but my friends were just party and working. But I have nobody that struck me. The good thing, she pulled me from, literally God used her, pulled me from Catholic to Christian to know God. Because, Catholic, yes, you know God, that's it, but you don't know Him. You know God, but you don't know Him.
Dionna, and one of the things that Felipe was just talking about that made me think about, and you said it when you were taking your break, what was something that was going through your mind when, even though you were kind of separated from each other physically and you were dealing with, what were some of the kind of things that you were doing to kind of resolve that, to decide just to get back with him other than just missing his presence? Was there some personal things you were doing to try to resolve in your heart and in your mind about not just Felipe, but just about yourself?
Well, I had started journaling years ago, and I actually still have that journal. And I forgot I had prayed about being married. And though, Felipe shared he came from a home where there was abuse, I didn't have abuse in my home, but like I said, I was raised by very young parents, and so I was a product of their dysfunction growing in marriage. So I didn't really have like a fun, happy representation of marriage. Like to me, it felt like I do not want someone in my space trying to tell me what to do, where to go. And so I had desired it, but I knew it was just a lot. And because I always say I put the cart before the horse with having the baby first and having a child out of wedlock, that was already a heavy responsibility. So when I took time, I had my prayer journal and I had wrote down about 7 or 8 different characteristics. And I could tell you this, they were characteristics. And I didn't know, it was nothing but the Holy Spirit, because nothing wasn't about income. Nothing was about stature.
Right.
There was no ethnicity, no age, nothing, education. None of that was it. It was about, I wanted someone with humor. I wanted someone who would accept my child as their own. I wanted someone who would partner with me. I wanted someone who reverenced God. I wanted someone who had a strong work ethic. It was things about character. And this man, he checked off everything. And even though he came from the Catholic faith, he reverenced God.
Yes.
And so it was easy to connect with him on that level, because the things that I felt would make me feel safe, he met those things. And so to answer your question, Gil, it was what I don't think I really consciously worked on it, but I do think that as I began to think about some things that were important to me, he was he was the image of that person. And I'm just glad that I kept me from myself, because Philip always says God, he prays that God gives him what he needs, not what he wants.
Right.
And I felt like God gave me who I needed. Right. Even down to the transition with our daughter, being able to call him Poppy. Aww. And being able to, not that we didn't have our struggles, but I mean, that's his daughter and that's her Poppy. That's our daughter and that's our grandbaby that she has, and so God he has used us to stretch each other. And I just want to say, he says a lot of what I've done for him, but with Philip, naturally, I would be able to help him in a lot of areas, because this is my homeland. This is my country. This is my community. And so I knew the ins and outs, and I saw some of the ways that he was being taken for granted and taken advantage of, with people not knowing and not really having anyone to support him. But what he taught me was the value of motherhood, the value of family, the importance of it, the honor in it. And that to me was hugely important, because we live very different ways. So like, he enjoys when we all sit down at the table and eat. I didn't grow up like that. Yeah. And so for him, it's like, your family is your everything. And why would you not want to be around your family? And for me, I was like, I stayed home too long. I'm trying to get away from family. And so he gave me, in this 20 years that we'll be together this summer, 16 years this year married, he gave me a different perspective and appreciation throughout our time together. And I don't know, he makes me feel safe. And it was so funny, because I never forget, I was dating him and I would say to my one girlfriend, I was like, girl, he didn't call me I don't know how many times. Why is he calling so much? And it showed me just how dysfunctional my dating had been. Yes. Because I didn't even know how to be respected in a relationship. Or pursued, exactly. Like, being pursued felt foreign. I was used to someone booking me and scheduling me into their time. And I thought, wow, this is really different. I'm thinking most people are saying, like, they're calling looking for the person. And this person is looking for me. And I have questions about it. And so I learned a lot from him, because he actually treated me like a lady. And that hadn't been my experience. And it was so funny, because when we would date, and I'm sure he was checking my figure out as well, But what he would say to me when he would compliment me, he would not objectify me.
Wow.
So he would say things like I like the way your eyes look, or it was something about me, but it wasn't other parts of my body.
Yeah.
And so that also made me, it was just different. It was a different experience for me, and it helped me and it taught me. He was just a gentleman, he was just a gentleman about.
Felipe, you just heard a lot of awesome and amazing things about your character and how you are as a person and the things that Dionna learned. What would you say is something that you have picked up from Dionna after 16 years of marriage that has helped, be a better man?
What I learned is be a truth, be the truth. Two things I always have since I get cheated in Mexico: no divorce and no cheating. And she, right when we was talking about eventually before we get married, but I think it was a couple of days before we get married, I said, babe, this is real. We're going to get married. Say, we go for it? And she's like, what do you mean? I said, I don't believe in cheating. I don't believe in divorce. So we go for it. And so that moment she said, yeah. So that's a faithful thing to say each other before say,
yes,
I do.
Yes.
Okay, because it's a huge step. Like say, most people don't make it far. So, but what I learned from her is be faith, loving God. Like she always say, God. And I'm like, yeah, but she always say, you push me a lot, but it's like encouraged to me. I take it encouragement, I take it like a push.
Yeah. I
say, give me a break, leave me alone. But eventually, for years to come, I noticed that she just want the best for me. Yeah. That's what I learned from her. Like she want the best for me. That she can be proud of. And the same thing like we do together. But what I learned from her is just love. That she loves me and she knows I love her. But the more important, like for all these 20 years we together, I don't think we never have a big issue. But what I really learned from her is love. What I was looking for. And I always tell her, I know she can know sometimes say, everything I ask God, what I need, God is my witness, I have it.
That's a
everything I have you tonight, I've been asked God for it. And she's part of it. And she knew before we don't even speak the same language. And it's proof to tonight, like I say, it's been happening. So she's been my rock. What I learned also for her is like encouragement. She always encourages you no matter what the situation. She's, like I say, she's always there. No matter it's a family member, a friend, or she don't even know the person I'm talking about, she's there. So it's like, wow, you're amazing. I mean, I'm married with an amazing woman.
That's awesome.
She never get her back once to me that I can remember. Like, you know what, you're on, you know what, that's your problem, always there. So it's love. I love this woman.
That's beautiful.
This has been an awesome, amazing conversation. And as we come to the end, one of the questions that we always like to ask our guests is going back and looking back over your marriage and your time and go back to when you were single, just getting started. What advice would you give yourself knowing what you know now of being together?
Two things: to take care of you first, because you can't take care of anyone else or be there for anyone else when you're empty. Mm-hmm. And so to start taking care of you and get some healing, I'm sure that makes, not the challenges won't happen, but it could make the road a lot less bumpy. And the second thing is, don't stop dating once you're in a relationship. Yes. So once you're married, because kids will come, life is always going to bring something. It's easy to disconnect when you don't partner in things with each other and date and experience things together. So don't start dating, or I should say, don't, maybe not necessarily dating, but don't stop having those moments together and find connection. Even if it's 5-10 minutes, make room to make sure that you connect. And then lastly, being that this is an adult subject, I would say the importance of understanding the value of physical intimacy in your relationship.
Yes.
It could be a make or break. And even if it doesn't seem like it's as important to you, make sure that you are taking care of your partner in expressing their love language. Those are the three things. So heal yourself, know yourself, continue to find those moments once you find that partner. Continue that relationship like it was at the beginning, spending that time together, and also making sure that you continue with that physical connection.
Wow, that was enough. That could have been a whole show all by itself.
And it is.
That's awesome. Felipe, do you want to follow that up or?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking different. If I'm gonna give advice to myself when I was young, it's a couple things. To first, be who you are.
Oh wow.
Just be who you are. Be original. Don't try to be somebody else, because those things come out.
Yes.
Second, make sure you're in the right place in your heart when you want to love someone.
Wow.
Don't rush to get married because she's cute or he's cute. Or don't rush because you have to meet the person. Even on this time, we still meet each other. So you're never going to meet the person in 2 years. So don't rush.
Yes.
If you're going to change for good, not for bad.
That is awesome.
Wow, that was awesome. You can see you guys are amazing together.
It has been
Thank you.
And this has been
That was my 3 things.
I appreciate the
Great job.
information. Yeah, and we really appreciate you guys just sharing your lives and your story. Is so unique just to hear your perspective about things, even in spite of the barriers where there was language or all the looming things that you talked about, like with immigration. We appreciate you guys being open.
You guys are definitely overcomers.
And again,
Yeah.
and we really appreciate you guys. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for your investment in time. Remember to subscribe to the show and hit the notification icon to be notified when new episodes are posted on the podcast platform that you're listening from.
Or you can always find us on our website at richrelationshipsus.com or our YouTube channel, Rich Relationships with Gil and Renee. If you found this podcast helpful or you think it could help someone that you know and care about, please pass it along and share it with them.
And also, you can always send your questions and comments to richrelationships.us@gmail.com. This is a weekly podcast, and the new episodes are going to be posted on Monday by 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Remember, we're stronger together.
Let's grow.